Hello and welcome back everybody to our Roberto De Zerbi recreation series. We are back with the next episode and we are going to be playing in the Italian Cup, hopefully quarterfinal, well definitely quarterfinal, hopefully the semi-final. And the final wouldn't be in today's episode, but hopefully we'll be in that pretty soon as well. Yes, we're going to be playing Atalanta. It's going to be our first game in the episode. Like I mentioned at the end of the previous episode, we're going to play Atalanta in the Cup. We're going to see how that goes. What I'll likely do anyway is we'll play Atalanta. I'll play the next 3 matches off of camera to get through to the end of the month. And then we'll go into March and we're going to play at least 2 other matches and then hopefully the Italian Cup semi-final. We'll see how it goes. We'll definitely play against Inter. We'll definitely play against Juventus. Hopefully with the Italian Cup semi-final to round off, depending on where it is. And if we get there, of course, there is always that as well. Off of camera, you missed the 1 game, big 3-1 victory here in this one. It was really comfortable. They sort of ruined the game, really, to be honest with you, because they got a red card quite early on. So tactically, it's a bit of a boring game, to be honest. They got a red card. It ruined the tactical battle, I guess, as it were. And yeah, that was it. 3-1, pretty easy. We move on. That leaves the league table looking like this. You've got 3rd down to 7th, all on 37 points. They're all on 37 points. Absolutely incredible. So much fun to see that from this Serie A. Look how close that is. 3 points separate 12th from 3rd. I don't think I've ever in my entire life seen a season like this in FM. It's just crazy. 3 points separating 12th to 3rd. I've never seen it before. Absolutely incredible. So there you are. And most teams have played 23. A couple of teams that have played 22. So it's not like there's loads of games in hand for teams either. I'm just looking at the fixtures now. I would expect 7 points here, wouldn't you? You'd expect 7 there, wouldn't you? A couple of wins and maybe a draw thrown in. It gets a bit more difficult here. We've got a chance. We have got a genuine chance at European football this year. I firmly believe it. It's going to come down to not losing games at the wrong times and getting injuries. That is what the problem is going to be. And we have one. Borges is out for 3 weeks. It was 4 when he got injured. Big loss, really. Varela is going to go in as a replacement. This is where the strength of the team gets tested. If we have no injuries, we finish in European football, I think. If we have injuries, it really does depend where. I mean, I think Tresoldi and Sammy, between the two of them, whoever's fit, as long as one of them is fit to play, we should be okay. But I think Borges is one of the few players that we're going to struggle to really replace. So we'll see how that goes, I guess, in today's episode. So I guess the first thing to focus on is we're at Atalanta in the league, actually. They're having a good season. They're currently 8th. They're in that race for European football like us, so they're currently doing okay. They play 3 at the back, and what was our previous results against them if we played them already, which we have at least once? We lost 2-1 to them here, and that is the only time we've played against them. It was a 2-1 defeat. Sensi scored in the last seconds, and yeah, they played their big 3 at the back. Although, was that a different formation now? Was it the Zakis? Or was it exactly the same one? It's exactly the same one. Okay. So yeah, just to recap how the sort of series is going to go, at least in the short term, I think for the rest of this season, we're going to focus mainly on what we're doing here, getting through the season and seeing where we finish in terms of the position in the league table, if we could win a cup, that kind of stuff. I think the recreation is really good right now, to be honest with you. And I think then that going into next season, like the first episode of, maybe not the first one, because that'll be the January or the summer transfer window, but one of the early episodes of next season, I will have done more De Zerbi analysis, and we'll talk about some more stuff, whether it's wingers. I think wingers is the place to go to next. We'll have a look at the wingers from real life. We'll look at really, 1, yes, what they do, but 2, are we doing it already with our wingers? I think we're doing a pretty good job of replicating the wingers in a lot of cases. I've already seen in a couple of matches that I've watched where the same player in Mitoma has played a slightly different role. In fact, there's 3 matches where he's played completely different roles. One of them is more like a striker, though. So we have to also be aware that they do tweak their positioning and some of the behaviors that they have from game to game, depending on what the tactical plan is, and just what the situation unfolds, right? Teams set up against them differently, which gives them different problems, different solutions, that kind of stuff, right? So you've got to remember all of those things as well. So there's a few things for us to look at in terms of how the wingers behave, but 1, are we already doing it with our tactic? And then 2, is there a way for us to correctly replicate that without completely destroying the whole overall tactic? So there's going to be lots of things to debate and go through, which we'll all go through next season. And then once that's done, we'll look at the number 10s and the strikers, and then that's pretty much it. I think we'll be pretty good with that. There's other things you could go into, like set pieces and that kind of stuff, but generally I think that's pretty good for us. And how we've got the tactic, I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest. So we'll see how we go. Obviously, the good thing about this series is that although the recreation could be pretty much done, because of how we're matching up out of possession to the different formations, stopping teams from playing out, that kind of stuff, it keeps this series so fresh and energized all the way through. So it's going to be great fun to play through, at least until we win the Serie A and the Champions League, of course. So once we get to that moment, we'll see. I have no idea, but I'm loving this. it makes me want to just do another series like this, but with a different manager afterwards. And it's really good because I love the Moneyball series, and we all know there's a Moneyball series coming, right? There's going to be one coming at some point in this cycle, I would expect. It'll be next year, of course, at some point. But these series are a bit different, and yeah, it's completely different. It's really fun, you know. I really enjoyed this, and what's great is it seems like like I mentioned a bit on the last video, that the video numbers are not going to be in comparison to other videos, etc., on other channels, but like the like 1,000 or 2,000 people that watch these videos every single time they come out, those people really love these videos and this kind of series and what I'm doing. So I'm really appreciative to all of you. Yeah, I don't know if it's in the name right a little bit, the cult, I guess, like the cult of Football Manager. I'd prefer, you know, to have a smaller group of people that really do love what I'm doing and are really loving what I'm doing than to be doing stuff that's a bit more fluffy and that attracts, yes, more people come in and actually look at the stuff here and there, the old video here and there. But really, we've got the core of people that love what we're doing. And yeah, I've got no plans to change anything anytime soon. So a really big thank you for you to all of you. And yeah, I'm really interested to see how people are finding it. I will try and get these videos out quicker as well. Of course, that is my other aim. But yeah, the aim is always every 2 or 3 days. That's always the aim. So if you see a video coming out, it could be 2 days after or 3 days after. It's very rarely going to be 4. And if you do want an update of when the next video is actually going to come out, I always put it in my Discord. When I know there's a video coming on the next day, I'll always put it in my Discord first when the next video is going to come out. So if you're sat there thinking, it's great, but I would like to know when the next video is coming because there isn't like a set schedule, join the Discord. I'll always try and put it in there if I have got something. Yeah, again, every 2 or 3 days normally. At the moment it's 3 because I've just moved and all that kind of stuff, right? So at the moment it's currently 3. But I mean, hopefully pretty soon it could pick up back to being 2. But also because my videos are like, you know, between 45 minutes and an hour plus long, that would be for a normal FM video. That's like 3 episodes. So if you think about it like that, like it's pretty much a video every day. If you were to come on the time with like the average FM video for a Let's Play, like, yeah. And like that's probably more sensible to do in terms of like viewer retention, people clicking on videos, that kind of stuff, right? It is, but that's just not my style. When I watch YouTube videos, I love to watch long form videos. It's just my style. Like when I watch YouTube videos, I like to watch long YouTube videos with chapters. You have to have chapters. If you're going to make a YouTube video that's longer than, I don't know, 20 minutes, something like that, maybe half an hour, I feel like you've got to put chapters in so people know roughly where the conversation's going to go, also which bits they can skip to or skip past, right? I think people need to have that option so you can make longer videos. I feel like I can make longer videos in the style that I want, but I have to chapter them. I have to make the effort to make sure they're chapter, which is obviously what I do each time. I hope people appreciate that because I know not everybody wants to sit there and watch through the whole video. Some people here just want to see the tactical stuff, and some people, you know, just skip the whole video. So thanks for that. Yeah, we'll move on. So Serie A, Atalanta, not Serie A, Italian Cup, quarterfinal, Atalanta. Here we go. It's going to be the following for your first team. Ernst in goal with Pujas, Papetti, Clemens, and Costini across the back. Handel, Musliga as pivots. Facundo as a 10. Asan left, Varela right. Big Samu down the middle, who's also unlearning his plays back to goal trait, which is great to see. We love a bit of that. And yeah, we'll get into this and see how we go. Assistant manager says pick up where you left off. Okay, so we're going to go for a bit of this. In fact, I need to change this so that the centre-backs don't have... They're the wrong way around, aren't they? We need to have a bit of this on here. The centre-backs need to be opposite to everybody else, basically. Centre-backs can... I mean, I guess the wing-backs are going to go on them, right? The wingers, sorry, are going to go onto the side centre-back, so I guess we don't need to do that. In fact, let's go to that. Yeah, let's go with that. So the middle centre-back can just stay spare. That's fine. It stops Samu from going into that. So they've got their 2 pivots building up with the central 10. I mean, I feel like that would do it. That should do it. Because the attacking field is offset to the left, that should then push either Musliga or Samu. A combination of one of those two should pick up the pivot player here. And Handel takes the 10. That should work. We'll go with that. Let's go with that. I mean, recent form is not good for old Atalanta over here. Not good stuff at all for them. Okay, the goalkeeper has the ball. He's going to go long, which is interesting. They try and get it to their wing back. We easily get there with Costini. Varela's now going to get here. Oh, he doesn't. Doesn't quite get there. They get the ball through to Edison. So at the reset there, let's pause this here. Right, so Facundo needs to go across and stop this. He needs to get across and stop that, and he's not going to... See, that's not good, is it? That's not good. Why is Facundo not doing that? Okay, Pujas gets on the left-hand side. He's going to build the attack on the left. Take some touches, plays it into Asan. Goes wide, hits the defender on the cross. Pujas gets it back, plays across to Musliga. Oh, he doesn't quite get there. They're going to counter us. Okay, we're going to defend this. Are we? Papetti should have got there. He does. Now Costini's going to mop this up. Right, we force them back to their centre-back. Okay, so Darun here keeps getting out. He keeps getting out against Facundo. Like, well, that was Mislegia that time. Maybe that was a set piece, was it? Was it? Okay, it's a throw-in, so on the throw-in set, they're all a bit out of position. That's fine. We can accept that. Now let's see what happens, though. Facundo, where are you going? You shouldn't go anywhere. Samu, see, if Samu's going to step off of the pivot player, then Mislegia needs to go up to him. So Samu has proven there that we need to make him something other than that. So he's going to go pressing forward support. Make him that, see if he can sit onto the CDM a bit more. Papetti switches to Costinha. There's been 3 shots in the game so far. We're getting up there in the shots now. We're getting closer. Varela gets onto it, goes inside, plays it across to Mislegia. Oh, it's a bit of a tight situation there. Facundo gets it. What a ball that is to Asan. Asan goes through. Can he score? Goes left foot, deflected, goes for a corner. I think we've done a pretty good job so far in our defending. Right, okay, so we've got 2 pivots. So really what you're looking at, right, is they've got 2 pivot players, and between 3 players, between Facundo, between Samu, and between Mislegia, between the 3 of them, 2 of the 3 should pick up those 2 players. It could be just Facundo and Samu, which means Mislegia's just spare and can help screen, can help do other stuff, can help with the number 10 if he needs to. If Samu happens to go onto a defender trying to gamble, he gambles on a press on a centre-back, which he shouldn't do that often, but if he chooses to do it, that's fine. But Mislegia needs to know his job then. When Samu does do that, you've got to step up onto that pivot play, because now that's your job. His job has become the back 3. You need to step up onto there, and hopefully while he goes onto the back 3, one of these 2 wingers goes with him, the other one does not. Unless the fullbacks are high and wide, they can take care of the wing-backs, then they both could go, which they're not, as you can see here. And Atalanta get out of our press, and they go through into the striker. They're going to get a highlight you would expect here. Oh no, Asan's won it. It could be anybody's highlight now, I guess. Hasn't got a lot on, though. Right back needs to get a bit higher and wider. It sees free. Mislegia, good lad. Let's get wider, winger. Let's get wider. Okay, that's good. Look at this. Space in the middle. Samu, Varela. It's good stuff. It's good football. And the wingers lost the ball. So, I didn't see what happened. I was getting excited. I thought we were through. We're through now, though. Papetti. Here we go. Asan, it's going to be a highlight. I can feel it. Asan, Facundo shoots. Keeper saves. It goes for a corner. It was close. Well, there's a highlight on the 47 minutes with +2 on the clock. You know what that means? It's going to be a penalty or a goal for them. And I don't know which it's going to be. Goal. It's a goal. 1-0. Really frustrating because, like, they've created absolutely nothing against us. Like, that is just so frustrating. They didn't deserve that at all. We played really well. We defended well. And, yeah, that is the situation we have been dealt. Pressing forward attack, maybe, for Samu. Just disappointing that is, isn't it? It's really disappointing. It was an instant highlight after half-time. Papetti gets it. Plays into Puskaz, who's got some options ahead of him. He goes on the left-hand side. Gives it away. Wins it back. Asan says, thank you very much. I'll have this now. Goes inside. He's got options with him. He's going to try and fizz this through, is he? To Varela on the right-hand side. Loses. We like to lose the ball. We're going to get there. Samu's going to get there. He's got it off the goalkeeper. Samu's got to score, and he does. It is 1-1. Bit of pressing on the goalkeeper. That pressing forward attack change might have just helped us with that, and that is going to be 1-1. Instant change. I'm going to take Mislegia off. Going to move Asan to the middle. We're going to bring on Piri on the left-hand side. Make that change there, I think. And we're going to take Puskaz off and put on Fredericks on the left-hand side too. Highlight straight after the change. Fredericks gets it back. Plays it into Handel. Takes some touches. Plays it in to, hopefully, he's going to lose it. It's getting scrappy, isn't it? Neither team can really patiently build up an attack. It always involves some sort of turnover coming. Handel, can we switch it? I mean, this player's completely free. Assam wants this all day. Now he doesn't. Handel, now you can get it to him. Now we can get to him safely. Nope, back to Clemens. Right back's open. Costinha. 2v1 if you want to use it. Could have been a 2v1. Asan says, no, I'll have it, boss. I'll do it myself. I'll just go wide and whip this in. No. Given away. It's not great in possession. Both teams are defending really well. Asan plays it into, hopefully, somebody. Andor in behind Perini. It goes across goal. Deflected. Samu! He scores to make it 2-1. And that is going to be another goal for Venezia. Samu is on fire. 2-1. When teams play this formation against me in so far in FM, when they chase the game, they go to a 3-4-3. So let's watch them change this in a second when they go for the game. There it is. Right on cue, they go to 3-4-3. Right there. Okay, so they've gone to 3-4-3, which means now we definitely want to have 2 pivots in there because there's a back 4 against their front 3. And as we're getting shifted left to right, I like to have 2 pivots to slide with them to have that bit of protection in front of that back 4 against the front 3. So they're going to have 2 pivots slotted in there. And then we need 2 players to pick up their 2 pivots still when we're trying to stop them playing out. So that's the other thing we need to do. And to be fair, I think that you could make an argument now for him going across and playing as a 2. Or we could just go to pressing forward support. You could go shadow striker. I think we'd invite a bit of pressure doing that. We could also leave it the way it is, right? You could leave it the way it is and hope that he still does do a bit of this on there right-sided CDM. So I think because we're trying to see out the game, pressing forward support seems like the most sensible thing to do. And let's change the striker as well to make sure the player that's dropping back and pressing and marking, doing all that stuff is fresh. So we have a bit of freshness up there. And he's also fresh then for the counter-attacks too. 1 minute to go. Is there any more highlights? 1 minute, 10 seconds, and a game over. Finishes 2-1 to Venezia. What a win in the Cup quarter-final. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant turnaround as well. Going obviously a goal down in the game and to come back and win, which was brilliant. We completely negotiated their tactical change. They made their tactical change. We reacted to it back early. They created, I think, 1 shot, was it? 2 shots maybe after that change. So for the last, like, I don't know, 50 minutes of the game, they created absolutely nothing. We saw them out pretty comfortably and did a really good job. That was a really good win from the boys. And as you can see here, the Italian Cup is in 2 legs, but the first leg is pretty soon. So, that's a difficult one. That's an awkward position. That's quite a big gap between the first leg and the second leg. Also, good news. Bologna, incidentally, they beat AC Milan. So AC Milan are the only team at the moment that you'd think are a big problem trying to beat because they're significantly better than every other team in the league. But they got knocked out by Bologna. So the Italian Cup is completely open up for grabs. We could win it this year. We genuinely could win it this year. We've got Bologna over 2 legs. Who's the other semi-final? Well, it could be anybody, I suppose, but Lazio and Inter you'd expect to be the 2 most likely teams. We've got a chance here. Bologna play their 4-2-3-1, but we did beat them 5-1 earlier in the season, right? So you never know. Could have a good chance of beating them there. So there we are. I mean, I don't know. I guess I should do the second leg in this game, right? In this episode, right? So we've done the 1 game. So let's do Bologna next. Let's do Juventus. Let's do Lazio, and let's do then Bologna in the Italian Cup semi-final second leg to finish off the episode. The reason I want to do the Lazio game is so that you see the last game that we play in the league on camera in this episode, so you don't see me play. Because if we came back for the Juventus game as the last league game, I don't want to play the Juventus league game. Then the next 3 matches in the league that are going to be quite important are all off camera for you to then see the Cup semi-final. So let's do that. Let's go Bologna next in the Italian Cup semi-final, first leg. Let's come back then for Juventus. So it's play 1, skip 3, play 1, skip 3, play 1, skip 2, and we'll finish off with the final 2. Hopefully that makes a bit of sense. Yeah, that one was quite difficult because I really wanted both semi-finals to be in the same episode. I think it's the only way I can do it without also skipping just loads and loads of matches in chunks. So let's do that. Let's come back for Bologna, then Juventus, then Lazio, then Bologna for the Italian Cup semi-final. I'm looking forward to this. We're going to do this in today's episode. So I'll see you in a few weeks' time in the game for the game against Bologna, and I'll let you know how we did off camera. We'll go through the games and tell you about the results. These 3 are pretty, they should be pretty routine, you'd expect. These aren't really the ones off camera that are quite big. It's more these 3 off of camera next. It's going to be the big ones to go through. So we'll go through these in a lot of detail, especially these 2 matches here that are off camera. These 3, I guess, I'll give you a little update, but I'm not expecting too much to be too controversial. It should be a pretty routine set of results there, you'd hope. And then the Bologna game we'll see in a second together. So I'll see you in a few weeks. Hopefully there's no injuries. And we could potentially get ourselves in a cup final in our first season in the Serie A. We're doing all this beautiful out-of-possession stuff that we're doing, combining it with the beautiful Roberto De Zerbi recreation tactic that we've got in the beautiful city of Venice. It is beautiful. The kit is beautiful. And I'll see you in a few weeks when we play against Bologna. Okay, welcome back, everybody. So the 7 points that I predicted we might get off camera, we bloody did get them off camera. We got 7 points. We didn't get the 9. We got the 7. We got the 2 wins. And it wasn't just necessarily the away game that we got the draw in. It was the home game against Torino. Yeah, we won 4-2, drew 2-2, then won 2-1. We'll go through these games quickly. Udinese was a 4-2 win. Udinese deployed a flat 4-4-2. Didn't really do too much out of possession other than opposition instructions for them, and moved my number 10 towards the middle. Worked pretty well. They created some chances early on, then it sort of faded away towards the end, which is the opposite of how games normally go, actually. Normally, we stifle teams, then they really go for it towards the end. Once we're already winning, then they get their XG up, but this was the other way around this time. And yeah, but we were pretty comfortable in that one. The Torino game was a bit frustrating. I was really disappointed with this game because they created a lot of possession. And they got most of their chances towards the end of the game. This was more like the usual. Yeah, towards the end of the game, they got quite a few chances. They had a few players. All their central players played really well against us. And we only had a couple of players on high match ratings there. And that was 2-2. And your goal scorers, by the way, I forgot to mention, the first game, you had Asan, Samu, Costinha, and then Samu again. In the 2-2 draw, you had Varela and Varela again. And then finally was this game against Hellas Verona. They played their 3-4-2-1 formation. We deployed our 2 pivots, stayed where they were to come up against their 2 pivots. And then I offset the striker to the right in this game and had him drop on to their their pivots, and eventually they kept getting out to their pivots. So eventually I wouldn't man mark them. I moved those Samu to a shadow striker. We went strikerless for a bit and came back and won the game after going a goal behind when I thought we were going to be in a bit of trouble. But we came back, did really, really well. Facundo scored a good goal, and it was a 2-1 victory for Venezia. And that brings us to two things. It brings us to the semi-final, the first leg of the Italian Cup semi-final, and it also brings us to Champions League football as things stand. As you can see, between us in 3rd and 10th, there's only 3 points separating all of those teams. It's honestly mind-boggling how close this is. Like, if you were to lose 2 games in a row, you could go from being in the Champions League to being bang mid-table, like, instantly. Crazy stuff. But there, luckily, because there's so many teams, right, that are in this sort of race, they have to start picking up points off each other, right? That's just how it's going to surely be happening all the way through. So it's probably going to stay pretty close for quite a long time, you'd expect. If all the teams continue to drop points to each other, that is. So we'll see. But here we go then. Bologna. Bologna are going to play a 4-2-3-1 with the goalkeeper being injured, which is good for us. We played Bologna earlier in the season in a comprehensive victory against them. So hopefully the same thing is going to happen today. Costinha is the only player that's out for this game. Everybody is technically back. Costinha was missing for quite a few matches, and Phil Nauman had to go and play right back, and he's done a good job of it so far. I think that Costinha will go back into the starting 11 once he's fit, but for now he's not, so he's going to stay out. So going into this game then, your team is going to be Ernst in goal. By the way, a lot of the goals we've conceded recently, quite a few of them have been like, the ball gets played to somebody 20, 25 yards from goal, they get a shot along the floor and it goes in. Goals that maybe you would want the goalkeeper to save, so that's something to watch out for, by the way. But Ernst in goal. And what's his attributes actually? Let's have a look at his attributes. Is there any reason for that? I mean, not really. Not sure why they've been going in like that, but we'll leave it for now. Ernst in goal, Pujaz, Papetti, Clement, and now one across the back with Handel and Muslija's pivots. Facundo is a 10. Asan and Varela. Oh, Borges. Borges is back, actually. Borges is going to start back on the right. Then Samu is going to go up front. Assistant manager says recent praise is justified. Okay. I've made 2 tweaks to the tactic, by the way. I've just taken the prevent goalkeeper distribution off by default in the base tactic. Also, the number 10 and all the midfield players in the centre have all got Mark tighter as a PI added. And the opposition instructions now, by default, every game, if it's a 4 at the back system, I always put the centre-backs and the CDMs opposition instructions on. So what that means is the centre-backs don't get engaged generally, but the CDMs do, any pivot players do. Yeah, just be careful to make sure this is actually activated when you start your matches if you are using this along with me in your own playthroughs or anything similar that you're doing in your saves. I hope your saves are going really well as well, because this one's going very well. We're enjoying this, and that's going to be their team. So the thinking behind this, right, just as we go into this one, Facundo being offset to the left should pick up to the right CDM, okay? He's got Mark tighter as a PI, and the opposition instructions suggest that he should be pressing and marking tighter and tackling harder on the pivot player and not engaging centre-backs. So it should be really easy for him to know who's got to pick up with those instructions. Samu is only instructed to not press the back line by the opposition instructions, and there should be a CDM here who has got everything set. So between Muslija and Samu, they need to just take care of that other pivot player. If Muslija goes, it just means that Handel knows he's got to make sure he picks up the number 10. And if Muslija does go, that means Samu can occupy the centre-backs and help us engage a bit higher. We don't have to sit completely off. But if Samu does drop, it's fine as well. We can go to like a more mid-block type setup if we need to. It gives them the flexibility to do either. Okay, so the goalkeeper gets the ball here. Let's see what they do with this. They go short to the centre-back. Let's just freeze it here. So Samu is going to stay between the centre-backs. That's okay. The pivot's currently been picked up by Muslija. And the 2 pivots currently being picked up by... So that's the winger. So really... I mean, that's okay for now, but then once this gets played here, which it will do, he's got to come across, and really, you're looking at Muslija stepping up, and then the CDM coming across, which they won't do here. They won't do it, I don't think. Oh, hang on. Whoa, hang on a second here. We want to see what happens. So, where are we going, Muslija? We're going to go over here. Okay, we're going back with the number 10s, then it frees up. So, they get out through the pivot play that we're trying to stop. So how do you prevent that? There's a few ways you could do it, right? This is why sometimes against certain setups, it is good to have him just move to the middle. So he will always try and follow that number 10 and move Muslija out the way. So now Muslija should look to go and engage that a bit better, but we'll try that. Okay, they have a chance to play out from the back here. Samu's gone and stood. So yeah, I mean, so this is where your formation can play a part, right? So on this set piece here, Samu is on the pivot player like you'd want him to be, right? He's exactly where he should be. And he decides, actually, no, do you know what? I'm just going to go and split the difference between the centre-backs instead and leaves him completely open. Muslija's nowhere near it. So that's frustrating. And if that's going to happen almost every time, I mean, ways to get around that is changing him to like a pressing forward, which it solves your problem out of possession. But I feel like it does it can, in certain matches, really, really affect your attack and how your team builds their attack, is able to counter attack, all these kind of things, right? There's lots of things that it can affect. So I'm going to drop him to pressing forward support. Okay, they've got a chance to counter attack. I say we win it back with Clemens. Clemens plays it into Borges, goes around his player. He is our best winger by a mile. Borges is good. Oh, it's hit the keeper and it's gone wide just there for a corner. Okay, so let's see then. Goal kick for them. Let's see how we build up here. So the winger's going to drop onto the fullback. Hopefully he goes across good. Okay, we need to be going back with the pivot player. We need to do better with this. Facundo, where are we going with that? They're going to get out from this, or they're in a bit of trouble now, though. They could lose it. Get away with it. So let's watch us reset them from the free kick as well. So let's see how this goes. So they're going to... So let's see what Samu does now. So before we saw him just go and... He stepped up here, didn't he? Split the difference. And now, is he going to do the same thing? No, he's going to stay on the player. So that's what we've got there now, the pressing forward support. He did a much better position to help prevent this, although he's going to go back with the player that he's on. That's all looking okay, I guess. As they come in, they lose it. Nauman gets it, plays the Borges, goes up for a throw. Looks better though, doesn't it? Yeah, don't forget this game is over 2 legs, so that all we need to do really is get a draw here. I back us at home. I think that tactically we're able to negotiate this tie okay over 2 legs if we can get the game at home with the score level. I think we can do that. But Betty gets it anyway. Oh, the pivot's open. If he wants it, Facundo's there as well. Facundo gets it, plays the Samu. Risky ball. It's calamitous. It goes wide to Borges. Borges, he shot. Oh, what a finish. I didn't see the goalkeeper. I don't know what he was doing. I wasn't watching it, but he took quite a long time to get back into his goal. And Borges says, don't worry, boss. I'm back from injury. I'll have a shot. 1-0. Let's watch this again. Yeah, I didn't see the goalkeeper. Maybe you watched the goalkeeper on this highlight. I didn't see him. So he goes out. He's like, oh, this will be right. They're just going to cross it. No, they're not. He's going to shoot goalkeeper. And that is 1-0. There's a late highlight here for them. I've not quite gone defensive yet. It's a bit early for that. They're going to get potentially a chance on goal. Gets played across to the side. Is another long-range shot going to come in on us? Not quite yet. They go back. Don't negotiate. Don't engage centre-backs. Go across the left-hand side. Their left, our right. It's a deflected cross. Fredericks heads it away. He's going to come back again, is it? We can't quite get out. It's going to be another cross into the box, which could be a goal, could be a penalty, could be over the bar. It's a goal. 1-1. Oh, Facundo's just got injured. So we're going to get on to 10 men for the last 5 minutes or so. It'll be at least 2 minutes of added time. Oh, there's a highlight of the last kick of the game. I don't believe it. Oh, we're getting it done again, aren't we, on the last kick of the game? Yet again in this series. Here it comes. Well, yeah. I mean, it's like the AC Milan game all over again, isn't it? 97 minutes again. Penalty again. Penalty for them. Don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. 2-1. Finishes 2-1 to Bologna. That is really hard to take. We'll say proud of the efforts of the players. That is really upsetting to go against us there. And we lost Facundo for 4 to 5 weeks. That really isn't good. What that will do, though, is it means Asan can go as a 10, and it means that Piridi go back on the left-hand side. That is the I guess, outcome of that. So although it's a negative, losing a really good player, it does allow us to then change the team a little bit, get a really effective player like Piridi back into the team. Asan gets himself some chances at number 10. And yeah, going to have some positives coming from that at the very least, I guess, in some form. But disappointing result in the end. Obviously, I did beat them 5-1 earlier in the season, but that was at home as well, and it was a much different time. But, I mean, it's really hard to take it. Although it was 5-1, from an XG perspective, it was a bit flattering for it to be 5-1, and they had a lot of possession in the game too. But yeah, not good stuff. Really poor results for us. Okay, I'll see you in a few weeks' time for the game against Juventus. 3 pretty important league matches between now and then, capping it off with the big game against Juventus. So we'll see how we're getting on. And they do play a 3 at the back system, of course, against us, which we struggled to cope with last time, although we beat them in the home game. And although we beat Juventus in that game 2-1, if I remember correctly, they did create quite a bit of XG against us. I think it was like 3. Something like 3 XG against us. Over 3. 3.54. So we won 2-1, but we got a bit fortunate with it. So we need to come up with a much better solution tactically against them this time. So that'll be an interesting battle. Then Lazio, then the second leg. Okay, I'll see you in a few weeks for the game against Juventus. Okay, welcome back. There was a postponement for the game against Parthenope. It was against Napoli. It was postponed, unfortunately, for us. So that's going to get pushed back. So you only really missed 2 matches off camera. A 2-2 draw against Parma, which was very, very disappointing. We were really bad. We went 2-0 down pretty early on, and I had to really go for it at the end. We're fortunate to get a draw in terms of, well, that aspect. But if you look at the XG here, the XG does not tell the full picture. The only reason the XG got so high is because we really went for it, and they really sat back, and they just wouldn't counter us, really, hoping for the best, really playing for their 2-goal advantage. That then became a 1-goal advantage, and it then became a 0-goal advantage. It ended up being a draw. And then against Inter got a goal early. I had to tweak how we were defending against their setup, and eventually we got the big win. Away to Inter, to get those kind of stats right, to have the XG of 2.64 to 1.51, 22 shots to 11. We played really, really well in that game. But it feels like a lot of these other games, right, that whatever I do to start off doesn't quite work. We've got to tweak it in game. And then once we tweak it, we're fine and we end up winning the matches more often than not. But when you keep doing that, all you need is to go 2 goals down like against Parma. And that's the kind of game that can get away from you. So we need to try and... I don't think we're getting it necessarily wrong. It's just that we really get it right after a certain period of time. So if we can just be a bit quicker at maybe making those adjustments, I don't know, maybe we can go undefeated next season. Who knows? We've got Juventus now. We're going to play Juventus right now. They are currently 6th. The league table, by the way, is looking like this. So if we want our game in hand, if we get a draw on our game in hand, we could go back into the top 4. But it's getting very, very close. It's getting so dangerously close. This is why I also felt like that just showing you, like, if I was to drag out the rest of the season of like 3 or 4 episodes, like, there'll be loads of fun tactical battles, but the story won't go anywhere. The race for the European football will still be within 3 points either side, either 3 points out, 3 points in, looking to not drop out. So it's really, really close all the way through still now. And brings us to Juventus, who are currently 1 place below us and 1 point below us. We have a game in hand, of course, but that is all it is. So the only player that's out is our backup goalkeeper. Everybody else is back fit. So Ernst is going to be in goal. Pujas, Papetti, Clemens, Costino across the back. Handel and Muslica pivots. Facundo is the 10. Hassan on the left. Borges on the right. Samu up front. That's your team. Let's go Venezia. Let's see how we can get on against Juventus. I'm hopeful. I mean, the only thing is, assistant manager says, carry on with your performance from last match. You'll do well. Their formation's a bit annoying for us, I guess. Okay, so 3-4-3. Yeah, the problem with this one, right, is that the back 4 take care of the 3, your pivots take care of their pivots, and then I think with 3-4-3 like this, you don't use the wingers in the back 3 here. You use the wingers to take care of the wing backs. I think that is the way you go with this against this formation. So, yeah, they're not going to drop this time. So I guess this time we can leave this all on default for the back 3, because the striker and the number 10 are going to take care of the back 3, plus also helping screen the ball into the middle. So I think if we're going to go to the middle to help with whichever pivot player is closest that he wants to pick up, he can. And it's sort of, I guess, maybe Handel's not really going to be in a position to pick up their pivots, though, is he? Muslica will be better. I mean, you could go to a 3. You could go 4-3-3 here, I guess, like outright 4-3-3. I mean, you could leave the entire back 3. We had a real problem with this, didn't we, against them last time? I remember this now. And I went to like that stupid system eventually to try and stop it. I mean, with like, I think we had 3 of them, all 3 of them in a line. Yeah, that's what we did. I think we should move these 2 up. Against this specific formation, I'm going to move both my pivots up to the next strata. And I think that you do that, and then he's a bit closer to engage the player here. I think that's the way you go with this. It says that Locatelli is going to be the more advanced one. He's on the left, so Muslica needs to go onto him early, though. But watch this, see how this plays out, and we'll see how it goes early on. But that could be a slight problem. We'll see how that goes, I think. Facundo can actually go onto the CDM to the right. I could move Samu across so that between him and Muslica, one of them picks up the CDM. I guess if Samu drops off, though, it leaves the entire back 3 free, which is what we resorted to being okay. We said, okay, they can have that. But that is, like, with 3 players being spare at the back, I mean, I guess if you're okay with a draw, that's fine. It feels a little passive, though, that. So, I don't know. I mean, you could go that and tick this to really try and, like, because they're gonna, like I say, right, there's so many different ways to do it. Like, ticking this, but moving him back to the AMC strata, that's still more passive in the pressing than if I was to do that, right? So, because he's going to start as an AMC. Good thing about this setup is the wingers and those 2 number 10s will both start on their own men. So the wingers will take care of the wing backs initially, and the 2 AMCs will pick up the pivots initially. But then once the ball's forced back, because we've got maximum pressing on here, they will then leave their men to go and press the back line. Let's go with that. Let's go with what we've got, and let's see how that plays out first and see how that goes. So you should get a higher engagement on the pivots by these 2 because they're higher, but they're going to start there. I think that's actually pretty good. I have a bit of faith this might work, but we'll see. We'll find out together. Okay, so I was looking for a bit of play where they were playing out against us, but we keep dominating them. As I was skipping through, this highlight occurred like late on. So if Facundo gets it, it goes to Samuel. I didn't quite see what happened, but I saw the conclusion, which was a shot. Asan goes through. That's quite a dangerous situation to be in right here for us. Facundo gets it back. Lovely ball to Samu. That was a really, really good move. Unlucky, lads. Now let's see on the basis of that how they then play out from the goal kick. This is what we want to see out of possession. First of all, can we start them playing out? So you're going to see here, hopefully, but I swear to God, lads, come on. Between the 4 of you, it's 4 of you responsible for 2 players. As long as they're picked up by at least... they get out from it. Okay, do not engage your centre-backs, lads. Really simple. Okay, force the ball backwards. Let's see what we do here against them. They can force it back now. Freeze it there. Okay, so that's a really good position to be in to start off with. You can see our wingers tracking their wing back. That's fine. Their winger's gone narrow, and that's our fullback responsible. That's a good... numerically, that looks okay to me. And then we've got 2 players here. So it goes here. It goes to left centre back because he's completely spare. Right, okay, that's good. Muslija says, okay, boss, I'm on him. Don't worry, I'm doing my job. Good. Now let's see a quick shift across and lock them in maybe to this side now. So I'd maybe want you now. So in real life here, what I'd want is... this is all looking pretty good. Ideally, you'd probably want him. Borges would be like here. So he's screening this, and then he can affect this as well. That's probably what you'd want, screen this, because that might be going straight into here, which is not good. What you'd want is Facundo to basically be stopping this now, going back around. So he's like positioned here, blocking this pass, and can maybe get to this if he really, really tries. You have to wait and see how good the pass is back to the keeper if it went. And then the handle just to make sure that he stays on this man here, making sure that nothing can go through. That's something similar to what you'd want. Okay, it's gone to Locatelli, it's gone to Chiesa. So they've got out a little bit. Goes a shot out of play there. We'll take that. Okay, free kick for them. They're going to start off with the ball. Play into their centre mid. Force them back, maybe? Can we get them back? He's a bit open there. The right CD, the one that's on the deep line playmaker defend side is getting out more because Facundo isn't sticking to him. And he isn't stepping up. So we need to do something. So I think we're going to do this. We're going to go Facundo as a support duty so we can drop on a little quicker onto that player. Okay, free kick for Juventus. They slide it in. We're going to get to this first. They push us. He's got 2 players up there if he wants to use them on the counter immediately. Are we going to use it? We're going to keep dribbling. We can release it now. No, we're going to keep dribbling. Are we going to cross it now, push us? Are we going to do something with the ball? We're going to cross it. Borgia scores. 1-0 to Venezia. Come on, what a goal. What a performance out of possession against Juventus so far. We've been good. We've been great. 1-0. Yeah, he's watching this again. Pushchat does worry me sometimes when he goes down wide, but he goes wide. Borges on the outside of the wing back. Comes on the outside of the... that is perfect winger positioning. Right on the back in the blind side of that third centre-back against the back 5. He's come from a wide position, come narrower, and that is going to be 1-0. Absolutely perfect performance at half-time. I'm really, really, really happy with that first half. It was really good. That puts us up to second currently. Again, because of the points difference doesn't mean an awful lot, but we are second right this second. Because there's a highlight just started, but Costina's going to come off. Naman's going to come on. And I'm thinking maybe Muslija. If we move Muslija out, put Assam back to the middle, let's get Pirino on the left-hand side. That seems like a good sub. And then Samu off Tresoldi on. Little triple substitution there to freshen things up and keep us sustaining our pressure on the Papetti. Gets it, plays it into Muslija. Muslija into Facundo. That's a red card, referee. Send him off. Second yellow. Gets off the pitch. Down to 10 men for Juventus. Borges gets it. Plays out to Højlund. Højlund takes a touch. Goes inside. Plays it back to Assam. That's not a good pass. They're going to counter us potentially here. They've got a few players breaking. This could be a problem, despite the fact they're down to 10 men. It doesn't matter here. They've got the numbers. The centre-back goes through. Plays it back to Arthur. It's blocked. It's going to be cleared away. Could it be a counter for us now? No, it's not. I don't think. Is it going to be another highlight for them? I bloody hope not. This could be a goal if it carries on. Is it going to carry on? Right, we should have the pivots covered, though. We're looking pretty good here defensively. We're looking really good now. Like, we should have won that. We should have won that. They've gone through and they probably should have scored themselves. What is happening? Instant highlight from that, actually. It's going to go to Pirini. Goes towards the far post. It's going to be headed away to Borges, headed towards... I don't know what has happened, but it's gone in. It's 2-0. Let's watch this again together because I have no idea what just actually happened here. Let's go through it. Goes there, headed down. He obviously gets a touch. Oh, it's like a second header. There you go. 2-0. Okay, potentially one of the last highlights of the game. If they get a goal here, they could make it interesting. I don't know how they've got their pivot out of play, playing out there, but, I mean, they gave it away, so it's fine. We give it away. They give it away. Do we give it away again? Hopefully not. Bit of control, please, lads. Højlund, Sensi, Facundo. Facundo to Pirini. Pirini goes through. Cuts inside. Shoots. What a finish. Pirini is brilliant. We are brilliant. And that is going to be 3-0. And there you have it. Finishes 3-0 to Venezia. Everybody thought we'd lose. Brilliant stuff, lads. That is a really good performance and result. Really happy with that. Leaves us in a good position going into a couple more tough games coming up. So, and it felt like we had a really good solution to their 3-4-3 system to play them again. If we have to play them again in a big game coming up, which we don't have to for the rest of this season at the very least. And is the manager going to get sacked there? Not yet anyway. So, yeah, that is that. Okay, great. I will see you then in a few weeks' time for the game against Lazio. Don't forget, there's going to be there's another 3 matches to go between this game and that game. So the top 4 race could look pretty different. And hopefully by the end of the Lazio game that we play through together, there should be a clear picture of exactly what we're playing for. Because right now, I'm not really looking at too much, to be honest with you, viewers. Like, the reason I'm not saying here's how many points it is for the top 4 or the top 6, it's just chaos. Like, there's just so many teams closer together that we're starting to see a bit of a drop off, I guess, from like Udinese in 10th, maybe, and Bologna. It's still pretty close, though, isn't it? It's still really close. Can't even say it. It's still really close. I'll see in a few weeks. Hopefully, the picture will be slightly clearer, and we'll know exactly what we're playing for. But we do know something we're playing for, and that is the Italian Cup semi-final. So we'll come back for the Lazio game, back for the Bologna game, and then we'll end today's episode. Actually, before we leave each other, and we come back in a few weeks, we have had the Next Gen Awards for 2025. I thought I'd show you this, because we've actually got a player. For the first time in Venezia, we've got a player in the Next Gen Awards. We have got Asan. Asan has got himself into the Next Gen Awards. We'll see exactly where he is here. He's not number 1. We've got some interesting players here. You might recognize some of these names yourself. They're number 8. He's 8th in the entire world. That is incredible. There you go. We've got a pretty good prospect there, then, haven't we? I always like to show this off to you so you can see who's coming through as the best Wonder Kids, according to this list anyway. And I'll save some, recognizable names. Yeah, Facundo Esposito scored a load of goals last year against us for Spezia and Serie B. He was a really good player. Hasn't played this year, though, so that might be stunting his growth a little bit, which is a shame for him. Italian player, of course. And, some pretty recognizable names there across the board. But, yeah, thought I'd quickly show you that anyway. We also had our youth intake, by the way. So this is apparently our best player, Matteo Ferrorini. It's not been a great intake. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't even seen these players yet, but you can just tell, right? You can just tell, though, right, that there's not much going on here. So I'll sign a few of these to make sure we have a bit of a team for next year. But the youth teams have done pretty well so far. Yeah, the youth teams have done pretty good, to be honest with you. So the under-20s are 5th, which is pretty good going for them. And the under-18s, they were top. They were top, and I took a lot of their players out to go to the 21s, and they must have fallen off recently. I mean, a little bit. But you can see the start of the season was just really good. So there you are. But yeah, not great. I'll sign some of these and we'll see how they go. But not much to show you there. Oh, one other thing. We've also got ourselves a new contract. So we're going to sign a new contract. Let's do it together here. We'll take that. Why not? Thank you very much. There you go. Locked in for 3 more years. New 3-year contract. Locked in. Brilliant stuff. See you in a few weeks. Okay, welcome back already. You have missed some really good games off of camera, actually. We managed to, first of all, beat Parthenope 1-0 in a really, really good 1-0 win. In fact, while I'm speaking right now, I'm going to be showing you the goal that we scored. What you'll like about this goal isn't just the fact that I have it playing as I'm speaking, so I recorded it easier, but it wasn't just the fact that we scored the goal. It was the way it went back to the goalkeeper. You have the pivot player splitting the centre backs, which is brilliant. We always want to see that. But he's splitting the centre backs as the deep line playmaker, as the left CDM, right? He's not in the middle. He's playing left CDM, and he's still going between them. That's what I was saying before, how I was able to recreate that pattern. It's not quite as often as you did play them dead in the centre, but they are still able to do it offset to the left, especially as the deep line playmaker defends. So it looked really good there. The attack builds up. I'll probably play this through a couple of times for you as I'm speaking. And the attack builds up through. And what you'll really like as well is the positioning of the wingers. Now, somebody asked me a question, I think, as I've been recording this episode about why I've chosen inside forwards. I've sort of spoken about this many times before. Like, why choose inside forwards for the De Zerbi wingers, like wide players? And like you can recreate the behaviors of the Zerbi's wingers in different ways. The fact is, I've got maximum width, right, in my tactic. Maximum width, we've got, in fact, let's go back to it here. We've got maximum width and on attacking mentality. That's like about as wide as you can get. So the players are going to position themselves as wide as they could possibly be. So I don't need them to be wingers to get them to be where they need to be. That's one thing. Second thing is if you've got players in AMCL and AMCR strata with the new positional rotations, they're going to be quite wide anyway. The change is going to be minimal between the roles if you've got players in those rotated areas, and we do. So that as well is going to shove the inside forwards a bit wider than they used to in FM. And then on top of that, we have maximum width. So there's that as well. And we have roam for position, but we do not have sit narrower selected. So what you get is what you're seeing in the goal is that the the ball side winger is quite wide, holding a nice wide position to help stretch the defense, get on the ball if he needs to. And the other wing is slightly narrower, ready to attack the back post if needed. For me, that's about what you'd want from your wingers anyway. But like I mentioned before, there are multiple games where the wingers are played differently. There's a couple of games where Matoma goes really narrow, really early, a bit like an inverted winger almost. And there's times where you would definitely say Matoma generally might be somebody that just holds wide and cuts inside and drives with the ball. So maybe winger, but with cuts inside with the ball. But we are getting the same behaviour that we'd want from the winger role, cutting inside with the ball, by using it inside forward. We're getting the best. It's not just about the role. I can't stress this enough times to people. It's not just about this player was at this role. It's how does it look in the combination with the rest of your roles and duties within your tactic, in addition to your team instructions and player instructions. That is what you need to look at. The whole picture is really important for your recreations, not specifically this player was at this. Generally, I'm really, really happy with the wingers' positioning. There's one or two times they're a little narrow, but the thing is we keep coming up against three at the back systems, which throws off our recreation. Like, how often do Brighton come up against a back three in the Premier League in real life? It's nowhere near as often as this, as we're coming up against, right? So that throws off a bit of it as well. But again, you can create it however you like. The fact that we've got the maximum width, the fact that we've got the players rotating so it shoves them wider, all of these things mean that the inside forwards are really wide anyway. And we've got roam from position, don't forget, and be more expressive in the tactics. So these two things together will incorporate a lots of things, like it will enable players to be able to make decisions for themselves, so they can decide when to over dribble into the middle of the pitch with the ball. They can decide when to go narrower to receive the ball from a wide position, or then draw back to a wider position. Because they've got room from position, they're making their own decisions. That, I think, replicates them much better. I think that with our current tactic, the way that it's designed, works the best for what we've got. We will revisit the wingers at some point, like I've mentioned. But yeah, somebody asked why use inside forwards. And the short answer is just that with this exact tactic, the way it's set up, with the mentality that we've got, and with the width that we've got, it works the best and gets the best out of the wide players. And if you look at, I think it was their goal against Ajax from real life, how the inside forward on the right sort of goes narrower and then gets on the end of the ball and they end up scoring. That would replicate an inside forward movement much better than a winger. So it's not just what they do when they get the ball in necessarily with the roles and duties, it's what they're going to do off the ball as well. An inside forward makes that run, gets the back post really well. I just think it works really well for this tactic and for this recreation. But you could quite easily, I could quite easily make their width narrower, make them wingers, and still get similar stuff that we'd like. Right? We'd have to tweak a couple of things, but generally we definitely could. Again, if we weren't using players in AMC stratas post-rotation, so post-rotation there's an AMCL and an AMCR post-rotation. If they weren't going into those positions, like if we only had one and we didn't have the right-hand side one, that might make you want to consider which way around you're using your inside forward. Maybe you want to use a winger the other side, depending on, again, multiple different things. If there's no AMC here and he's an inside forward, he's probably going to come in slightly narrower than he is without one there. So yeah, many considerations, but because again, mentality, team width, two players rotating into the AMC stratas, all these things factor in that this works really, really well with run from position. You can make recreation so many different ways. I keep saying it. I'll keep saying it. There is no one size fits all. This works really well for our exact recreation here. It works perfectly, in fact. So it works. It looks good. And we're doing really, really well. So yeah, that was the 1-0 win against Parthenope with that brilliant goal. We restricted them pretty well as well. Those are your match stats there for those who are interested in seeing a bit of that. Moving on then to Brianza 5-1. I mean, they got all red cards. They were never really in the game. We got a lot of XG compared to them and pretty much battered them for 90 minutes, really. And they've just been relegated, incidentally, by the way. And then Atalanta 2-1 defeat. They played a 3-4-1-2. I mean, it was difficult for us, really. We created more XG than them. They got a bit fortunate to get the win. But yeah, disappointing to have lost the game. I feel like we should have won it probably, but we didn't. And that brings you up to date for the game against Lazio, and that is your current league table. Now let's go through some of the numbers here. We are currently joint level on points with second, who are Atalanta, we just lost to. But with a game in hand, we are 2 points clear of fifth. So we're currently 2 points inside the top four. And then we're currently 3 points clear of sixth and seventh. We are currently 4 points clear of eighth, which is starting to get outside the European places. And then 7 points outside of Udinese ninth with a game in hand. So you're starting to see a little bit of it moving now. So really what we're looking at now is eighth upwards. Eighth to second is where the battle really, really is there. And we've just played a couple of the big teams in there. We've got Lazio in this. And then later in the season, we have Nobody else. That is the only team. So this game against Lazio is huge because it's the last game that we have this season against a direct opponent for European football. It is the very last one it is the very last one that we have, which you would think on paper means that we've got a really good chance of getting in because we've got games that should be on paper easier. But that isn't how this league has gone. It isn't how this season has gone. It isn't how this save has gone. But that is the current state of play. Going into this game against Lazio with multiple players out, Naumann and Clemens are both suspended. Facundo is injured. Hassan's got an injury, but he's going to push through it because they're going to make him. And that is going to be that. Right. Your team for this game is going to be Ernst in goal, Pujaz, Papetti, Ongueni, and Cosini across the back. Handler, Musligia pivots. Hassan is the 10. Borges and Trezoli wide. And it's going to be Samu up front. Assistant manager says, media comments, okay. So they're going to play 4-3-3. I mean, this is pretty straightforward for us, really. It should be, anyway. We're just going to say that you're going to go on to their pivot player. You can pick up the CMs, and that should be that, really. That, combined with the opposition instructions, should be enough for us to be able to win this game. Because, obviously, the 4-2-3 will matches up naturally against the 4-3-3, and vice versa, right out of possession. You have your 2 pivots on there, 2 8s or 10s, and you have your number 10 on their pivot player, and then vice versa. So, yeah, we'll see. Hendel gets it anyway. Plays it to Papetti. Papetti takes some touches. He's going to look to play this into Pujaz. Pujaz and gives it away. And they're going to break on us here. Guendouzi goes through and he's going to get his shot away. It's going to be a goal. It's 1-0 to Lazio. Not a good start for us at all. And then instant highlight afterwards, Hendel gets it, plays to Papetti. I do feel like we go behind in a lot of games and we have to really work hard to get back out in front. Like, I have to do a lot of tweaking and changing of the game. It feels a bit frustrating at times. Musligia goes through, plays it across the Borges. He's going to bring it down. Brings it down, plays it to Costinha. Loses it. Gets it back. Musligia plays it back to Costinha. Far post, Samu. No, Hassan, sorry. Hassan goes up, heads it just wide. Okay, we're going to try and build from the back here. Musligia gets it to Papetti. 2 pivot players looking to get on the ball for us. Get us out. Right-hand side's open. Right back's open all day now. Goalkeeper, if he can play it to him. He does. Costinha has it. He's going to drive us out of the defence. He's going to trouble with it. Plays it to Borges. Borges tries to ball in behind. It's not really what we wanted to see. And they're going to get the ball back now. What we should see, though, is... Oh, Borges has won it. Here we go. Right-hand side. Goes inside. Stays on it just about. Keeps it. Goes inside again. Is he going to release it to the left winger? Does. Trezoldi. Trezoldi gets it. Does he have to probably cross this now? He does. Far post. Samu goes up with the header. Shoots. And he scores. And it's going to be 1-1. We'll say that we're proud of everybody's efforts so far. They're sort of getting out a little bit. But we have toned it down since we put the striker onto their pivot player. Essentially leaving our number 10 to not have to pick him up. And he can sort of flirt around and screen and that kind of stuff, right? So Hassan's going to come off because he's got a bit of a knock, obviously. And then Facundo's going to replace him as a straight swap at number 10. Who's going to roll this to? Right centre-back is completely open, of course. Could go right centre-back, right back straight away if he wants to. Bang, and maybe it's a bit... It's not quite on now, though, from Ongueni. He's going to have to try and play somebody else, maybe. Costinha's going to go back. Hendel gets it. Back into Costinha. Costinha to Ongueni. Ongueni plays it to Hendel. Hendel now gets it and plays it across to Pujaz on the left-hand side. Takes some touches, goes wide, plays into Trezoldi. Trezoldi goes through. Plays it back to Pujaz. Crosses it. Headed away. Costinha goes through. He's going to get a shot away. Shoots, and it goes just wide. Okay, go back to the goalkeeper. Let's watch this then. So they've got their... They're playing basically like a 3-2 build-up shape because they've got the inverted wing back coming in. Let's see what they do with this here. They're going to try and play it into their pivot here. I mean, he should be picked up. He should be picked up. They're going to get out through him. Like, why is he getting out, lads? Like, Samu really shouldn't be doing this. He should be on the pivot player. That's really disappointing. Like, I've got 2 players central that should both be responsible for him, and they still got out. That's really hard to take. And they've scored from it. And that's really hard to take because that's got nothing to do with our tactics. The player's not following it. And that's 2-1. Okay, we're going all out attack to try and get a goal. There's going to be a highlight here with still 20-odd minutes to go. Lazio are going to get a chance. So Trezoldi wins it. Gives it away. They're going to get a chance. They're through. Are they going to score to make it 3? Make it game over? They do. Probably is game over. 3-1. Okay, Musligia's won it. He goes wide. He might have a chance to get a cross in and maybe gets a goal to make things a bit interesting. Crosses it far post. Headed away. Costina's going to get to this easily. Now he's going to swing across in as well. Trezoldi far post, heads it towards goal, makes it 3-2. We've still got a chance. There's a corner. Last minute, our goalkeeper's up for the corner. There he is. Oh, it doesn't got to get to it. Are they going to counter us? Ernst is... Oh, he's gone back now. They might get a counter on here. They've got a few players flying forwards. Yeah, they do. It's going to be a chance for Lazio. I mean, we gave our best try in this. We did try our hardest to come back. I don't know what's just happened here. Hoyland's got it. Plays to Costinha. We might have a chance. Costinha Plays it into Varela. Varela gets it. Goes inside. Plays it to Facundo. Facundo gets it. Goes wide. Still goes wide. Cuts inside. Cuts inside. Goes through. Shoots. What a finish from Facundo. What a goal that is. That's 3-3. What a comeback from the boys. Come on. Let's watch this again. Facundo has some great touches as he's going through. Cuts all the way inside on his left foot. Let's watch this again. Varela gets this. Plays to Facundo, who just says, see you later, lads. I'm off. Goes past one, cuts inside onto his left foot. I really didn't think he'd score from here, but he did and makes it 3-3. There's a highlight in the 96th minute. Tresoldi wins it. Fredericks plays it inside to somebody, hopefully. Papetti. Papetti goes up to Ongweni. Ongweni's got options. Travels with it, travels with it, travels with it. Plays to Maslija. Loses it. No. Not again. Wins it. Varela. Varela, Papetti, left back. No, left back was on Papetti. That was the chance. What is he? Oh, I'll tell you what. That I wasn't sure that was the right pass, but we've got out of it. Oh, it's just what? Just end us now. Just give the somebody score. Please, somebody just score. Put us out of this misery. Pirini goes through. Shoot. Scores. 4-3 to Venezia. Surely that's got to be European football confirmed. Like, with the fixtures we got left, that goal is huge. 3 points for us. 0 for Lazio. What a game this is. 4-3. It could have gone to anybody. It was not good from either team trying to see out this game. No control, no composure, just chaos. We go through, we score. Pirini scores to make it 4-3. Game over. Wow. I can't believe we came back, to be honest. I thought that was game over when I said game over at 3-1. I thought it was game over. We don't come back from those situations that often that well. So that was really, really impressive. So with just 5 games to go, we are currently second place, 3 points clear of third, 3 points clear of fourth, 5 points clear of fifth. And to fall out of the European places, we are now 7 points clear of Juventus. That game was huge. If we would have lost that, to only be 4 points clear of Juventus is really, really close. But to be 7, that should be good enough, I think, to get us into Europe in some form. But we'll have to see how it all plays out. We have Bologna next in the Italian Cup semi-final second leg. We are losing 2-1 from the first leg. We will start off playing as if the game is level. We're not going to try and go for it too early. We're going to still play it because if we can keep the game tight and go 1-0 up going into the 60th minute, etc., I feel like we're in control of the game then, even though technically we'd be a goal behind at the start of the game. If we can get to the 60th, 70th minute and it's 1-0 to us, 2 to an aggregate, we're in control at that point. Being at home, having the ability to go for the game if we need to, I think I'm confident with that. So we're going to go and play it as if it's like 0-0 and approach the game very much the same way. So we'll see what happens. I'll see you in a few days for the game against Bologna. Here we go. Italian Cup semi-final. Football and water. See you in a second. Here we go. It is the big one. It is the Italian Cup semi-final. Don't forget, this is our second season at Venezia. Our first season in the Serie A. To get to a cup final would be incredible. To get into the Champions League is going to be already great. We're second in the league, by the way. I just can't believe we're second. I thought we would do potentially okay, but because we're sticking to a recreation, right? There's definitely times when you're doing a recreation where you know you could tweak away from it and get better results, but you're trying to stay true to the recreation. But in this instance, the recreation has just been brilliant. So I don't know. Like it's been really, really good. And yeah, we've got Bologna here. We're going to play Inter in the final if we get through, by the way. And we beat Inter 2-1 recently, and we drew 0-0 at home. So there's 2 close matches there against Inter. So that would be an interesting final for us. So that would be an interesting final if we get there. But that is if we get there. It is right now. It is the semi-final. It is Bologna. And your team for the Italian Cup semi-final in Season 2 is Ernst goal. Naumann at left back because we have, by the way, yeah, just so you know, players out. Puszczas is the only player that's actually out fully. But as you can see, Facundo's not really fit to play and some other players there. But yes, your team is going to be Ernst in goal, Naumann, Papetti, Clemens, and Costinha across the back 4. Handel, Maslija pivots. Asana's the 10. Pirini back on the left. Borges on the right. Samu up front. Here we go. Come on, Venezia. Football and water. Roberto De Zerbi Recreation Series. Season 2. Italian Cup semi-final. Assistant manager says, recent praise is justified from the media. Okay. So it's 4-2-3-1. I'm going to say that we're going to leave 2 pivots on their number 10. And we'll have these 2 accommodate the 2 pivots. Now, I mean, so that's the formation, right? So going up against that, the best thing to do is to go to a 4-3-3 to match it up properly, I would say. I mean, we could do that, right? We could do 4-3-3 like outright. I've not really found a solution to this that I'm totally happy with, the 4-2-3-1, coming up against our own formation. I just think that in real life, you would just invert your midfield 3 a little bit in your pressing. So, I mean, unless you do like a full... Do we fully go to that? I guess we should go to this. I think we should go to that, right? And then the advance forward, pressing forward maybe. just so that if there's any pivot player that's, you know, lurking around that's open, he can sort of get onto that. We'll try that. We'll go with that 4-3 early on. We'll match up against the formation completely and see how we get on. Here we go. Italian Cup semi-final, second leg. We're at home in the beautiful city of Venice. Looking amazing. Gareth Gates is playing his song. Any one of us?
It can happen to any one of us. Anyone you think of, anyone can fall. Anyone can hurt someone they love. Hearts will break, 'cause I made a stupid mistake.
So I was messing with the settings a little bit for a second, and we actually got, I think, a proper this could be a proper highlight, by the way. I saw it break through to the right-hand side. So we go through. Samu goes through. Oh, he's hit the post. Samu's hit the post. Borges gets it, goes through. Oh, has he hit the post as well? I don't know what's happened. Oh, what a start to the game. Stays 0-0. Eaton highlight. What is going on here? Absolute chaos, ladies and gentlemen. Costinha loses it. Gets it back. Gets it back, though. He's still got it. It's okay. Muslija gives it away. Muslija, what are we doing? Samu, he's got a score. He's got a score, and he does. Come on. It's 1-0. It's 2-2 on aggregate. That's the goal that we needed. We could have scored 2 or 3 already. What a start. They can't handle the matchup of the formation. It's 1-0. Watch it again. Goes to Muslija, gives it away. We're a bit fortunate with getting it straight back off them again. And this one here. Cheers, referee, for sort of doing some pass interference for us. Shoots, scores, 1-0. Okay, they've gone back here. So let's just watch this here. So you can see why the 4-3-3 matches up well against the 4-2-3-1 in FM, right? In FM, well, it does anyway, but I mean, like, actually going to a 4-3-3 shape, in open play, it works really well. Look at this. Muslija's right on him, and he's right on him. And they're going to get out, which is unfortunate, but, like, they were close in the vicinity of the player. Oh, I mean, the winger shouldn't even be there. The central field player should be on this. Lads, like, you can see how they're in the right areas. They're just not quite getting close enough, which is really frustrating. But Hassan goes through the middle, shoots, scores, 2-0. Come on! We got a chance. We got a chance. Oh, what a turnaround. 2-0. Yeah, again, we win it again in the central areas. Well, I guess it was played wide. It was still within the width of the penalty box or pretty close to it. Hassan goes through, shoots, scores, 2-0. We are absolutely battering them, by the way. Look at that. 4 shots to 0, 1.35 XG to 0. We're not getting many shots, but the shots that we're getting are like really high XG chances, which is a good thing for us. And they've just scored from a set piece. I don't believe it. Don't believe it. 2-1. Muslija's got a knock, which is a shame, really, because I don't know what to do here. I think the only player really is maybe... Could Handel play in the middle higher up? He could. We could move Handel up, right? But Hassan's playing well. Hassan is playing well where he is. Facundo would be the obvious choice, but he's still not really 100%, is he? So Oscar Hoyland, could he do that role? I guess Oscar could go and do it. Handel could go forwards, or you could play Sensi. I mean, Sensi could do it as well. I'm going to throw Oscar on for Muslija. Keep working hard, and their results should come from that, which is true, because like if they play like that again second half, we should definitely win this game. Far post set piece for Petty goes up. Hoyland's going to get to this. Brings it down. Goes wide. Goes back. Plays it into Clemens. Clemens goes wide. Whips it in. Far post. I think now might have been offside, but Hassan's not. Hassan. Perini shoots. Scored. 3-1. Come on. We've got a chance again. Come on. Brilliant pass from Hassan. This is to Perini. And what a finish again. I was actually about to serve him off because he's not on a great match rate and he wasn't playing his best, bless him. But he's just scored a crucial goal for us yet again as Perini. What a player he is. Hero of the club. Deflected cross goes up. Headed away. Knocked down by Hassan. Perini shoots. Perini scores. 3-1. They've had one shot so far. Look, the 0.50 XG is really high because it was that one chance they had, right? That was a... Oh, there you go. They've had their second shot of the game. They're really struggling in this game. We've got to beat them here. Come on, Nauman. Let's go. Hassan. Into Perini. Perini plays it now in so nobody loses it. Stay in your structure. Stay in your shape. Stay in your shape. Take up the pivots. Good. Good, Oscar. Oscar. Samu's through. Oh, he's at the keeper, Jeff. I don't believe it. But let's just watch this again. Watch what Oscar Hoyland does. I'm really proud of him for this. So, just watch Oscar Hoyland. Their pivot player starts to break free here a little bit. Really. So, Oscar is in possession. So, he's ahead of him. Blah, 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 blah. Now... They turn over the ball. The pivot's here, which, I mean, I know it's impossible for him to get the ball right now, but if that was a pass into here, this player's completely free, because that's the referee, don't forget. Look at the space here. So he goes straight onto him, see? Look, bang, on him. You're not playing it to him now, lads. Good lad, Oscar. See, it helped create the chaos at the back, and we could have scored. I wouldn't say should have scored, because it was quite a tight chance still for Sammy to get that through. Perini's going to have to come off because he's a bit tired, so we're going to throw on Varela. I'm going to bring on Tresoldi up front as well. There's a late highlight for them. I don't believe this. Far post cross. Keeper collects it. It's going to be our highlight list starting with the ball anyway. Doesn't mean it's going to be for us. The left centre-back's the only player that's open really here. And then the left winger's gone quite narrow. I don't like him being this narrow. Oh, we've gone to the right. Costinha, Sensi. First to pass into Varela. Varela stay on it. Good. Costinha, good. Well worked, boys. Not great from Costinha's. Giving it away twice. Twice in a row he gave that away. They go wide. They're going to get a cross in. It's deflected. It's a shot. It's a save from the goalkeeper, but that was not good from us. And there you have it. Finishes 3-1 to Venezia, 4-3 in aggregate. What a turnaround. What a performance from the boys. I'm really proud of them because they really, really did do well at stopping them playing out. They were really good at that. They did create some chances. Most of it from set-piece stuff. Most of it was from like set-piece stuff and other stuff. It had nothing to do with them playing out. We stopped them playing out and gave them real problems being able to play. Well, they could play to their centre-backs, and then it's what do you do then? Because both your pivots are taken care of. Your fullbacks are taken care of. You're going to have to... You can still get out because, you know, it's not as easy. It's not just easy to man-mark players and that's it, job done. But they've got to really work to get out, and they couldn't work themselves out of our pressing traps and our structure. Our structure was very, very good out of possession. And yet again, we've won a big game against a good team with some great structure out of possession, some brilliant football in possession. 3-1 win. We are in the Italian Cup final.
It can happen to any one of us. Anyone you think of, anyone can fall. Anyone can hurt someone they love. Hearts will break, 'cause I made a stupid mistake. It can happen to any one of us. Say you will forgive me. Anyone can fail. Say you will believe me. I can't take my heart will break.
It is incredible to see that. So, I mean, next episode I think is really simple. And I think we'll just play those 4 matches. The last 4 matches of the season we'll just play. We might not have to play the Empoli game. If we keep winning matches, we might mathematically be confirmed in the top 4 going into that game. But we all... So, yeah, it completely depends on that, really. We'll see what happens for those last few games. But definitely Roma, definitely Inter. We'll definitely play those 2 matches in the next episode. Wow. I tell you what, viewers, I can't believe that. What a brilliant episode in terms of, like, results, the performances, the problems that we had, the solutions we had to try and come up with, the injuries and the players missing. We had to come up with all the solutions with all these problems. And overall, if you look at where this episode started and where it finished, results-wise, so we started off here. That is impressive. Only 1 league defeat, and the other defeat was the first leg of the cup that we just overturned. So really, really good end to the season for us, which is good. I always thought that maybe we had a really good start and we'd fall off, but we've pretty much sustained it. I think that if we look at the league table here, first half of the season, we're like mid-table. Second half of the season, we're second. We're the second best team in this half of the season. That is incredible. Like, if next season starts how this is ending, we're going to be in a title race. We're going to be in a title race if it's the same thing. There's a long way to go. Teams will get better. Teams will get worse. It's really hard to predict that at this stage. Like, the amount of money we're going to have to spend is probably going to be quite low, so we're not going to be able to make the same jump that we made last season. The team from Season 1 to Season 2 was quite a big jump, and I don't think we're going to get the same jump again. But I don't know. It depends on the budget. It depends who we can sell. If Facundo is still unhappy and he wants to leave, we could potentially take 40 million for him. If I was to get a big offer for Facundo, I would take it. Like, if we could get 30 million for him, 30 million plus whatever the transfer budget was supposed to be, then we've got a chance of doing the same thing again in terms of making a big improvement to the team. Because look at the finances. We're almost dead even. Like, clubs often work in a deficit way, right? So you end up like, I don't know, 10 million in the red at the end of the season, but then you get your end of season money. You're sort of working. Clubs are leveraged, like, in advance and stuff, right? So, yeah, that is how clubs normally do it. So the fact that we're nearly even is really good financially. Like, really good. Our transfer debt is 15 million, and we're still going to basically break even at the end of the season with no European football. That shows just how well we've done. One of the reasons for this is in the last 3 weeks in the game, I've lost like 4 members of staff to other clubs, and we've been getting like 200 grand there, 300 grand there, because they're on pretty long contracts. So we've got a lot of money for it, and I've replaced a couple of the analysts. We lost 2 analysts, replaced them with 1. And I lost 2 coaches and didn't replace them because we had enough coaches to get through the season. And I'd rather wait for the end of the season to get some really high-level coaches with our reputation boost and that kind of stuff, right? Being a top 4 team potentially, Champions League team potentially, and potentially Italian Cup winners. So that is the aim. And it would be the second Italian Cup in the club's history. No league title, no Serie A league title for the club. So could be making history here, ladies and gentlemen. We could be making history, bringing success to Venezia and bringing Football and Water to the top of Italian football. I mean, a second place finish in Italian Cup is you're one of the best teams in Italy, right? So what a turnaround. What a bunch of performances from the boys. I'm really proud of them. Like, normally I would expect us to go and repeat this next season. Because the way that we're doing it with like matching up formations and stuff, I do feel like being in Europe might cost us a bit because we'll have quite a few games in Europe next year and we might lose a few of those and it'll just knock us out of our form morale a little bit for the league matches. But so I don't think it's necessarily going to be repeated. I don't think we're going to necessarily be second, but I think we'll be a European team next season. I just don't know if we're going to be this close to the title. It might look like a step backwards. It might look like we got really close to the title this year, then fell massively away, finishing 5th or 6th. That might happen, and we just need to be aware of that because it could happen with the recreation and the way that we're doing things. But wow, really, really proud of the team. Really proud of where we're at. Really happy as well with how this is going. It's really, really good, isn't it? So there you are. That is going to do this episode. We covered quite a bit of like weeks, to be honest. I wasn't really sure how to play it. Hopefully this made sense to everybody to try and get both semi-final cups in the same episode. Again, long term, I don't think I'll do that every year that we're in this division. I just felt like for this season, it felt like the right thing to do. I felt like that doing Bologna in a couple of games here and then doing another episode, I just felt like the top 4 race and the European race wasn't really going to change much in that time. And it would be basically bringing out 2 videos for the sake of bringing out 2 videos. Like, I've mentioned before, I'm not in this for the money. I'm doing it because I enjoy it. And I feel like that having the story of this in one episode fit better to me than to split that over 2 videos, although that would have been better for me in terms of my time, I guess, and things like that. But I don't care about that. We don't care about that this channel. We're just making videos, see what happens. But that is going to do it. That's going to do the episode. Thank you so much for watching this episode in this series. I really do appreciate every single time that you like, you comment, anything. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for me. We're going to go away now and play a few games off camera. I'm going to get some food, and I might play the final later tonight and play the next episode later tonight. Or I might leave it for tomorrow. I'm not too sure yet. But, yeah. Loving this episode. Loving this series. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you all, of course, next time.